In a world full of noise and chaos, have you ever wondered where you can truly find peace? What if the answers you're seeking aren't in the loudest moments, but in the quietest spaces? Join us as we explore the transformative power of silence, where the stillness speaks louder than words and where God's voice is heard most clearly. In the rush and noise of life, we often forget the power of silence. Yet, it is in the stillness that we can truly find God, hear His voice, and feel His presence. Silence is not just the absence of sound. It is the space where we encounter the divine, where we find peace, and where our souls are renewed. In the midst of our busy lives, silence offers us a sacred space to reconnect with ourselves and with God. It is in the quiet moments that we hear the whispers of the divine, guiding us, comforting us, and giving us strength. Psalm chapter 46 verse 10 reminds us, "Be still, and know that I am God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth." In stillness, we find a deep sense of peace and purpose that can carry us through the challenges of life. Silence is where we meet God most intimately. It is where we pour out our hearts without the need for words, where we listen more than we speak. In this quiet space, we can find the strength to persevere through our struggles, knowing that God is with us. Isaiah chapter 30 verse 15 says, "In repentance and rest is your salvation, in quietness and trust is your strength." In the quiet, we discover a source of strength that sustains us in the hardest of times. Each day brings its own set of challenges, but in the silence of the morning, we can find the clarity and focus we need to face them. It is in these quiet moments that we prepare our hearts for the day ahead, drawing strength from God's presence. Lamentations chapter 3 verses 25 to 26 reminds us, "The Lord is good to those whose hope is in Him, to the one who seeks Him. It is good to wait quietly for the salvation of the Lord." In waiting quietly, we find resilience, and in resilience, we find the courage to continue on. Silence is a gift we often overlook. Yet, it is in these moments of quiet reflection that we connect most deeply with God, finding the guidance and love that carries us through life's trials. Silence allows us to hear the voice of God more clearly, to feel His presence more profoundly. Zephaniah chapter 3 verse 17 tells us, "The Lord your God is with you, the mighty warrior who saves. He will take great delight in you. In His love, He will no longer rebuke you but will rejoice over you with singing." Even in silence, God rejoices over us, guiding us with love. Life's decisions are often made in the quiet moments when we listen more than we speak. In silence, we find the clarity to move forward, the assurance that God's guidance is ever present. Psalm chapter 62 verses 1 to 2 reminds us, "Truly my soul finds rest in God. My salvation comes from Him. Truly He is my rock and my salvation. He is my fortress. I will never be shaken." It is in stillness that we are reminded of God's unwavering strength and the salvation that is ours through Him. In the silence of nature, we are reminded of God's majesty and the peace that comes from being in His creation. The stillness of a mountain, the quiet of a forest, the calm of the sea, all these speak of God's presence, His power, and His love. Psalm chapter 19 verses 1 to 2 "The heavens declare the glory of God. The skies proclaim the work of His hands. Day after day they pour forth speech, night after night they reveal knowledge." Through the silence of creation, we hear God's voice and see His handiwork. Silence is not just about being alone, it is about being fully present. Whether with loved ones, in nature, or in prayer, silence allows us to connect on a deeper level. Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 7 reminds us, "There is a time to be silent and a time to speak." In these silent moments, we connect with others and with God in ways that words cannot express. Silence in community is powerful. In the shared quiet, we are united in purpose, and God's presence is felt more intensely. Our silent prayers are heard by God, and in these moments, we find strength and encouragement. Matthew chapter 6 verse 6 says, "But when you pray, go into your room, close the door and pray to your Father, who is unseen. Then your Father, who sees what is done in secret, will reward you." In the silence of prayer, we connect with God in a deeply personal and transformative way. Finding God in the stillness doesn't require grand gestures or elaborate rituals. It simply requires a willingness to be quiet, to listen, and to open your heart. In the silence, you will find that God has been there all along, waiting to bring you peace, strength, and renewal. So, take a moment today to step away from the noise, to be still, and to find God in the quiet places of your heart. As we part from this moment of stillness, remember that silence is not just an absence of sound. It's a presence of peace, a space where God meets us with open arms. When the world feels overwhelming, retreat to the quiet places of your heart, and there, you will find Him. Take this with you. In the stillness, you are never alone. God is always near, ready to renew your strength and guide your steps. May you find peace and strength in the quiet moments. Stay connected with us for more uplifting content. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still. Exodus chapter 14 verse 14.